Green architecture is an emerging field that focuses on using low-impact materials to create a completed structure that is efficient and environmentally friendly. On the aesthetic side of green architecture, or sustainable design is the philosophy of designing a building that is in harmony with the natural features and resources surrounding the site. The primary uses for tinted glass are reducing glare from bright outdoors and reducing the amount of solar energy transmitted through the glass. Green roofing is a building concept that utilizes unused space and help mitigate global warming the natural way by saving energy and cleaning the air we breathe. Climate-friendly gardening is gardening in ways which reduce emissions of greenhouse gases from gardens and encourage the absorption of carbon dioxide by soils and plants in order to aid the reduction of global warming. Green building, also known as green construction or sustainable building, is both a structure and using of processes that are environmentally responsible and resource efficient throughout a building's life cycle. Fiberglass roofing is fire resistant in nature. It helps in protecting houses from wind, rainfall, storm, and others. There are less possibility water drainage and leakage is maintained in a proper manner.
My name is Rohan Parekh and I head the green initiatives at Infosys. Passion is really designing really high performance buildings. My passion is renewable energies and energy efficiency, because I clearly believe that energy saved is energy gained. My focus is really on how can we design buildings which can bring in a 10x improvement. The focus of this team is really to ensure that we design world-class buildings which have the highest levels of efficiencies, and environmental sustainability was a key component for it, because amongst the various challenges that are facing the world, climate change is going to be a key challenge. Having said that, the other challenge we looked at is resource constraint. In a world where you're going to have 9 billion people by 2050, the need of the hour is really resource efficiency, and so we've started looking at from an environmental sustainability perspective on a big focus on resource productivity and resource efficiency. We're adding about 20,000 new employees each year, which means 2 million square feet of additional floor space, the next generation of high performance buildings. A lot of our buildings are predominantly glass. I think glass is an amazing construction material. It's a new age material. It has to be used appropriately. It's become very easy for architects in general to use glass, because you can just clad any plan shape with glass and make the building look nice. And the architect really doesn't have to spend too much time on proportioning the buildings. Giving punch windows requires a lot of proportioning. Now we're trying to use glass more intelligently. One of the advantages of glass is, not only from a ease of construction and looks, aesthetics, but from a functional perspective is that it should give views. And so glass has to be used in a manner such that you don't have glare. It has to be really a high performance glass that you use intelligently in your buildings to make very, very high performance envelopes. So we don't bring in heat, and we are trying to bring in daylight. We've started using high performance glazing, spectrally selective glazing as such, which have coatings which do not let the UV and the IR component of the light spectrum come in, and it only lets the visible spectrum, predominantly the visible spectrum, come in. And as a result, we are getting in less heat gains. So our focus is that let's design buildings which have 90% of the floor space which are daylit, should be without glare, and at the same time the solar heat gain should not be more than 2 watts per square foot. You should try and use very, very high performing glass. We can really use glass very intelligently and provide 100% daylight or 90% daylight in our occupied spaces. Thank you very much.
Make ecological awareness part of our social fabric and culture. The more you learn about the complex relationships between living things and their environment, the better. Talk to your family and friends about the things you know and learn. Instead of driving a car, walk or ride a bicycle to the grocery store or anywhere else. If the destination is too far, consider other means of transportation. The traditional gasoline car is the worst polluter. New electric cars are affordable for many and completely free of toxic emissions. This is the most common and, in most cities, the easiest, most accessible thing we can do for the environment. Most cities in our country provide separate containers for trash, recyclables, and garden clippings, as well as convenient pickup. We can recycle many household items, including computers, printer cartridges, aluminum cans, paper, plastic bottles, milk jugs, batteries, steel containers, glass, and much more. No longer can we take clean water for granted. A third of the world's population does not have access to clean water. Only 1% of Earth's water is safe and available for humans to use. Minimize your use of toxic chemicals and use them with caution as they tend to end up in the groundwater. Use renewable energy sources such as wind, sun, and geothermal rather than non-renewables such as oil and natural gas. Select the elected officials who are most likely to deliver environmentally sensitive solutions, such as more parks, bike paths, and all sorts of government oversight and industrial guidance and incentives aimed toward renewable energy, slowing population rates, and conservation. Buy product at the farmers market or at grocery stores that buy local products and meats, poultry, and fish. You'll get food that is fresher and brought to the market with less pollution because it is transported much shorter distances than products often found in chain stores. More people are learning that life becomes more fulfilling when they create a gratifying lifestyle with friends, loving relationships, and passionate careers. Today, many people choose not to procreate and find fulfillment in their careers and communities of friends. Many people find their purpose and joy of life by developing themselves through the arts, sciences, sports, or other domains. Humans already reproduce more than our planet can sustain. Little by little, develop simple, practical, daily habits that impact our environment in positive ways. We humans are part of the ecosystem and are responsible for the Earth.
We concluded that the growing environmental concerns and high cost of energy have encouraged architects, designers, and constructors to create buildings that are energy efficient and responsive to climatic conditions. Perceptions on the impact of green technology in terms of cost and time do vary. However, the green consensus is that the initial higher costs are eventually compensated by the future savings in energy costs and the relatively non-quantifiable health benefits to the building's occupants.
All right, we're here in the Philippines, in Batuk. We're finishing up the windshield just a few hundred feet away, but here we're trying to build what we call a zero-cost room. It's to be made with stuff that they have here that they don't have to buy. Tires, dirt, rock, palm logs, and bamboo. It's also, the other criteria for this building is it's got to be wind resistant, just like the windshield. It's got to take wind up and over. We're using rubble in the first course because it's very wet here, and that keeps water from wicking up into the dirt-filled tire wall. So it's becoming a whole practice in all earthship buildings these days to do the first course of tires with rubble, pumice, or rock to make it impermeable to water. So this is one day of work with just tires and dirt and no materials that you have to buy, on its way to being a room that costs nothing, that won't blow away. Okay, this is the end of day 2. We've got our 7 courses up. You'll see probably tomorrow that we'll do what we call burn the first course. We're going to bury the first course, so our floor is higher than the ground outside and slopes away. Then we put the plastic rice bags, or cement bags or rice bags on top so that the logs don't touch dirt. And then these are palm logs. They have palm trees all over the place here. And we're doing an North American Indian Hogan roof here. You'll see it as it evolves over the next few days. It starts off with logs, and they're mitered together, and they just tie on to the tires, so that the weight of the tires is holding them down. We're trying to get by without serious tools and technology. Just something that anyone in the tropics can do without a lot of tools and pretty much no money.